From the first time ever plugged in till the day something better is discovered, the electric guitar will be one of the main ingredients to so many musical styles. No one can say for certain when the original electric guitar was made, but the first production model was created by Epiphone and cleverly named the Electar, or Model M. This guitar was basically a modified acoustic, hollow in shape with a primitive pole pickup. This huge clunky monster would soon become the father of all electric guitars. Three men to remember of the early 1930s and the creation of the electric guitar are Leo Fender, Orville Gibson, and Adolf Rickenbacker. These three men were the leaders of the new technology of amplified guitar playing. Old musical genres were not lost. Electrified sounds complemented blues, country, and jazz, especially in the time of hollow-bodied guitars. With the newly discovered power of sound, guitarists were enabled to play lead positions, something previously dominated by brass instruments or the mighty piano. Bro, what do you know? Bruce and Clarence can play together. With the ability to play with new confidence, solo guitarists urged that better tones and sounds be produced, and as always, technology complied. Different shapes, woods, styles, sizes, and pickups were tried and tested in hopes of finding that perfect tone. The most prominent discoveries were that of solid body electric, a change from previously thicker, heavier guitars. Somewhere along the rock and roll road, or perhaps on Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, lead guitarists got the idea that it is actually okay to do whatever you want. For example, smashing a guitar on the stage, jumping all around, spinning on the ground, wearing minimal clothing, or whatever else they could think of. Who knew an instrument could instigate such a reaction? It doesn't really matter what caused these reactions, though, because without pickups, guitarists would have gotten nowhere. Gibson created the P90 and humbucker pickups, while Fender had a line of hot single coils. Gibson and Fender had taken control with these recent advancements, and the Stratocaster, Telecaster, Les Paul, and SG models of guitar became the top-notch guitars and still are today. Many quirkier, fad-type guitars and pickups passed through, including guitars of different materials like the Steelcaster, made out of metal, different shaped guitars, and pickups like the bright but thinner-sounding lipstick tubes of Danelectro. They all came and went like any new style. To be honest, though, the real truth about electric guitars is that they really aren't all that electric without a source. What I'm talking about is amplifiers. Amplifiers specific to different guitars and styles began to emerge at the same pace as guitars themselves. The most common amps in the first 20 years of play were tube amps, or valve amps. These amps were preferred over solid-state or transistor amps because they could create more powerful, pure sounds because of the way they were wired. Most weren't much bigger than 30 watts at the time, but grew and grew to combos and stacks that could produce hundreds of watts of power. Again, bands used these monstrous sounds to blow audiences away, or in some cases they would flip the coin and sweetly serenade the ladies. The most famous invention in relations to amps was called overdrive, and that ain't just me talking. Overdrive practically reshaped the world. Roger Mayer is given credit for creating the first distortion pedal, which overloads the signal, creating the overdriven sound, and in the words of Jimmy Page, can make it sound pretty rude. This ultra-sustained sound, along with other effect pedals like delay, phasers, wah pedals, and more, allowed bands to diversify their music, appealing to all audiences. Some bands like U2 relied on effects to capture their sounds. Other bands that were looking for a rockabilly or bluesy crunch turned towards a semi-hollowed guitar, which is like a hybrid between a hollow body's full tones and a solid body's resistance to feedback and ability to get the overdriven sounds. So, all this thrown together, with technology in the middle, results in the creation of a musical phenomenon that will always be remembered. Old bands will not be lost, new bands may be discovered, but through it all, the electric guitar will always remain.